We're here at the Auto Expo 2025, the component show, and I have with me Mr. Akash Passey, who is the president of the ZF Group in India. Mr. Passey, thank you so much for talking to us and spending the time.
Pleasure is all mine.
What are you showcasing here at the show, and what's the kind of buzz that you're getting?
Well, first of all, as the world's second largest mobility and technology systems provider, or auto component, which is the traditional way of stating it, I think it's great for a company like us to participate in an event like this. The facilities are very good.
Yeah.
As member of the executive committee of ACMA, I feel very proud that the ACMA has done a great job and the show has come out very well.
Right.
And I also believe that the interest level has been quite high and therefore there have been a number of extra booths which have been added here.
Right, yeah.
And what's good for me is that it is day one and since morning a lot of OEMs are pouring in, which is what we are here for business.
Right.
So what we have to show here, because traditionally our concept, and I guess it's for some others also, that what we don't want to show here when we come here is what are we doing today and tomorrow morning. What we want to show here is where is the future, what it looks like,
Right.
because that will also be what India would be in a couple of years. And therefore our customers, they know that from our daily dialogues that we are in touch with them, but this is a possibility for us to show that they have a path together with us to the future. And therefore, first of all, we are here as one ZF. One of those few auto component players which makes us the second largest in the world, starting from small parts on two-wheelers to, of course, very heavy in passenger cars, in construction equipment, in light commercial vehicles, medium and heavy trucks and buses, railways, and test systems, and wind energy, and so on and so forth. Therefore, more or less anything which moves, ZF technology is applicable there in terms of the systems, the mobility systems we offer.
Right.
So what we're showing here is, on the passenger car side, lots of things across the chassis, but mainly the future in terms of brake-by-wire or steer-by-wire.
Right.
Which means there's no physical connectivity which we are traditionally used to.
Between the master cylinder and the brake pedal, for example.
So it's electrics and electronics which is used.
Right.
Then we are of course showing cubics, which means that the black box of an aeroplane which controls everything.
Right.
And the difference is that when they have a black box in the aeroplane, it's one single company which makes the aeroplane. But here, the aggregates can be from different companies, but still Cubex with an open software is able to collect data and then do predictions from and leads to very high, not only data but also safety for customers.
Right.
Similarly, on the commercial vehicle side, Indian highways are doing very well now. They're ready, but they need the good-sized tractor trailers, and there we are displaying a lot of our possibilities. For example, ADAS, both on passenger car side as well as on the commercial vehicle side. Electrical drive lines, braking systems, auto clutch also on the commercial vehicle side.
Okay.
And most importantly, today we will be launching the next step of scalar, which means that we have already 400,000 vehicles around the world and probably over 100,000 even in India out of that, where we have the software and the hardware predicting the performance of the vehicle, which means that how does it differ? Because we are not the only ones who are doing it. But what I understand from our team is that with this phase which we go into, we are not only giving the data of what is happening, but we are able to predict the next steps with the aggregates of in terms of safety, in terms of performance, in terms of breakdown. And I think that is adding value to the next step or the next level. And I think that would also be launched out today.
Right.
So all in all, key messages to customers: with ZF, we are with you. We are not here to offer you the big imported range of products. Technologies are there, but we are 16,000 Indians here with 18 factories, 10 technical centers to give you locally sourced, locally engineered, locally manufactured, and locally validated product from our test track in Chennai. So we give you a whole combination.
Right.
It can start with a smaller level of localization and lead to 100% localization.
Right. So is it safe to say, Mr. Passey, that going forward, we are seeing more of electronics intensive packaging and these sort of components? That is going to be the key focus area for you now in the future, given that we're moving towards electrification and SDVs?
So I think that goes in our name. We were always introduced as one of the world's largest auto component manufacturer. We don't say that anymore. I think our marketing team says, or if you go even into our sites, says the world's second largest technology and mobility systems provider. And that is for the reason that it's all moving away from mechanical to this. And the world is going through in change, and India especially, when it comes to digitization, telematics, electronics is changing faster than others. I was in Europe, I came in yesterday morning, and at a couple of locations, I had to actually go to the ATM to take out cash because I was not able to buy something or travel from one place to another because they wanted cash. I'm so proud that in India, we can use normal applications, and even with a small telewala, for a small thing you buy for a couple of rupees, use that. So I think that change will happen much faster for us. And as ZF, we have all these technologies on electrical, electronics available with us. Traditional technologies have always been there. We've been known for that, and we are ready for the future. And India is ready for the future because earlier customers wanted to stay with traditional things given the road conditions, given the economic conditions. India is changing. Every year we're going to add 100 million plus people more or less over the next few years into the middle class. They want the latest. They go to YouTube, they go to social media, they travel outside, and they want the latest. And we see the same kind of eagerness between OEMs that they don't go into global shows with us and say, well, this will come after 5 years. They say, can we have the first prototype in 3 months? So this is the new India. And that is where customers, our customers or companies like ZF as a supplier become very relevant because we want to partner and we want to localize and we want to be not the third or the fourth supplier, but the number one supplier to them on key aggregates.
Could you give me a sense of when do you expect these technologies to really take off in the country, the ADAS solutions you have on offer, the electric drivetrains that you have on offer? What sort of a timeline are you looking at to really see a volume push in this category?
A number of them are already available because this is something which is not started today. It started a couple of years back. We have, for example, ESC already offered to the market, which was not normal, but now we have our test track also as ESC compliant, which is one of the few in India. And generally OEMs have test tracks, not suppliers. But we have one of the largest test tracks in India here in India. Then when it comes to ADAS, that is already mounted onto vehicles with trials happening in India. We are ready to bring it into India with the discussions now happening both on the PES car side as well as on the commercial vehicle side. Heavier electric drivelines may take a few years because that is always volume dependent. So, but we are close to nothing. If there is volume, if customer is willing to see the value we provide, we are willing to localize, try to take the challenge of meeting around the local cost levels because that's important in India, and then we will go for it. So a very open chapter. Sometimes with a large company, people want a lot of things from you because you supply probably 500, 800,000 types of different components or mobility systems. And then you lose yourself being a global company in responsiveness. So being here, connecting with customers, doing tech shows, telling them what is there, then we list down top 3 or 5 things with customers which we focus on. They come in now, the others come in later.
And you have also another vertical, ZF LifeTech, which is primarily into passive safety technologies. What sort of growth you're looking in that division, and is it really, are regulations really the key drivers of that business?
If you ask any Indian today what's on top of your mind, any educated Indian would say safety, because the accident rate is still over 150,000 and it's growing. I don't know, somebody gave me a figure of 180,000.
Around that number,
I have not been able to
elaborate
that, but and that's dangerous because everywhere in the world the trend is going down and we're moving up. So safety is on top of the mind. So I think that is where we will give the maximum solutions. And the change in India is that 15 years back, when you went to the headquarters in Delhi with the government, they said, these are our roads. We want simple solutions. We don't want to invest. Do give us what works in these circumstances. Today it is, we have the money, we have the latest highways which we are building in India. Most of them are ready. We want safety to be top priority. If there's a solution which is good but can be localized in India, we want it. So I think the rate of regulations is faster. The implementation of the regulation announcement to implementation is faster. Much more can be done. Many more technologies can come. So I think that roadmap for me is obvious that it's the pressure point from the society, from the industry, and from the government. So I think if you look at all modern cars today, more or less, you have everything. And I think the same will now also happen on the commercial vehicle side, even on the construction equipment side. So we are ready for it. Some of the safety features, we are the first ones in India to bring them in, and we will continue that trend.
Right. And in terms of development from India, so, where are you positioned in that space in terms of R&D, and what is India's role going to be globally, I mean, in ZF's global business when it comes to new technology development, new product development?
It's a very good question. My view there is slightly different from what everybody normally works out to be. India is today treated to be one of the best GCC base, which I agree with, but that is not the end of the story of India. So for me, ZF from India, for India, and for ZF Group worldwide, for exports, should offer technologies which can be done at more competitive costs here, engineering solutions which can be done at a much lesser hourly rate there. That is what India stands for. So I don't want either our global customers or ZF globally, which is in itself a large conglomerate, to have a situation where we say, well, you are low cost, so I give it to you. No, as ZF have 10 technical centers here. Largest one is in Hyderabad, 3,500 engineers doing cutting edge AI, digitized, telematics, etc. for all the global customers. Now we're preparing it very much deeply also for India. Open mindset, looking at work and life balance, and still performing more efficiently than what I did. So I think that is the next India for me. And we have to be watchful. We have to keep the agenda going because the market is not rising at this moment. It probably will stay flat, which is not bad as long as it's not falling. But a country like India needs rapid growth to cross the line, or what we call as be at Viksit Bharat 2047. So I hope that this overall agenda, the jigsaw pieces, they fit into each other, and then companies like us and people like you, together we can make a difference.
Right. So that is going to be your outlook for the industry over the next 2 to 3 years time frame?
So I think I see this year to be a flat year. Not
FY25.
FY25. FY25 and also partly FY26. We do think that in the second half of this calendar year, things will start to improve. Why? I don't know today, but I'm hoping that in the budget there are things coming in which rejuvenate the industry, for raising the volumes and the levels and the technology. But I think that next 5 to 7 years belong to India, as long as we can keep ourselves conflict-free and geopolitically in the right space. I think India is not only important for us as India, India is also very important for us in terms of having the ability to export more out of here, give more engineering solutions, be more doing a lot of other things in different areas and domains and functions in India, which traditionally today are being done somewhere else in the world. So I only see opportunities.
Right. So would you be looking to beat the average industry growth rate, and what is going to be your expectation from ZF's business?
That's a good question. Of course, everyone wants to beat the industry growth rate, and we seriously want to do it. We've had many good years here, but I think this is the time when we have become very relevant to the automobile world of India today. A need for new technologies, safety solutions, more electronics and mobility systems, better integration, systems talking to each other,
Right.
not being a one component supplier, being able to give a much bigger solution.
Right.
That fits in very well into our portfolio.
Right.
And therefore, our aim, of course, is to have that we would like that we at least grow 300% in the next 5 years. It's a lot to say, and as they say, easy to say, but it's a lot to do also. But I think India offers opportunity, and if we are able to, technology we have, if we are able to bring it at the cost levels which is acceptable for our customers here, if we are able to be responsive like a local company, which is what we are working for now very much, but at the same time, as I said, local sourcing, local engineering, local manufacturing, local validation, then we are ready for this kind of a growth.
Mr. Passey, thank you very much and wish you all the best for your future plans.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for your time.